Welcome to the show, Jennifer. How are you today?
Yeah, I'm pretty good today. Thanks for taking time to meet with me.
Sure. So we'll get right into, this is, licensed therapist, so it's a lot about trauma. And growing up, did you have brothers or sisters, or what was it like growing up with the family dynamic? Parents together, or growing up with mom or dad, or?
So I did have brother and sister. I had an older brother, 6 years older, an older sister, 9 years older, who became kind of like my main caregiver.
Mhm.
I am the only child between my mother and my father. My dad remarried several years later and had two more children. I did not have a nurturing, I had a very chaotic childhood. I was beaten, neglected, and uh, it, and what I remember, I only was able to remember through. I got sober in 2012, and I did. I couldn't remember anything under 16 years old, like nothing, like black out, nothing. And I did age regression hypnosis, which brought a lot up, a lot of trauma, and I was able to process that. So, so growing up, like for instance, I lived in, I think we lived in Downey. I was a kid, so I must have been around, I think around 3 years old. And I'm going to tell this one. It doesn't seem like such a big deal, but in the scheme of things, it became one of my biggest problems in my life. And it led to a lot more aloneness, I guess. So I was playing outside always with my friends. I'm a Gen X, so we drank from
The
the
hose.
the hose, and we came in when the even at 3, even I was eating the neighbor's dog food, went up for snacks. I mean, we just played and played and played and played. And apparently I had like didn't come back in the house or make it on time a few times, and was like peeing my pants as a little girl. And later I found out that, little girls or little boys that pee their pants, it's usually an issue with their mother. And my mother was the culprit to all of my childhood problems. You know, uh, anyway, so I was out one time playing, and I came running in the house, and my mom was laying on the couch, and she saw me like holding between my legs, the little pee pee dance, kind of like running to the bathroom. And she like grabbed my arm and stood me next to her and said, "Did you pee your pants?" And at that time, her holding me up, I peed my pants while I was standing there. And my mom, instead of being helpful, was traumatizing to me. So she gets up from this wicked nap that she must have been having. She calls my older brother and sister, says, "Go get all Stephanie's friends, all of your friends, and bring them to the front porch." And I'm 3 years old, and she strips me down completely naked and puts me in a diaper. And back in Downey where I lived, I remember there was one of the black security gate screen doors, and she put me out on the porch with all these children, like viewing like an audience, and I was in a diaper, completely naked. And that I cried. My brother and sister were in the house, and I wanted back in, and they wouldn't let me in. And I don't know how long I was out there, but it made such a dramatic um, impression throughout my life, in the fact that like people weren't safe for me.
Yeah.
Um, they um, they didn't help me nor love me. Um, I was on my own. And it started at a very young age. I became a cutter, a childhood cutter. So I would nervously itch or scratch myself till I bled. And my mom would just come and smack me across the face when she'd see me scratching my arm. And so life went on, right? And
Well, can I ask you a question? A couple questions.
sure.
Was your mom a drinker?
Yes, she's been passed away probably since, well, like 37 years now.
Mhm.
Yeah, so when I got sober, I was able to recognize that my mom was an alcoholic, but I did not know.
How
I
did
didn't
she
know at
pass?
the
Can I
time.
ask? You mind?
Pardon?
You mind if I ask how she passed?
She passed. She had heart issues,
Okay.
and she was a drinker and a smoker,
Okay.
and her heart ultimately took her out. She was the youngest woman to have a quadruple bypass in the 80s, and
Oh
then
shit.
she was the only woman that had the very first quadruple redo 5 years later, and then she died. So she
Okay.
had one at 39, a quadruple bypass, first woman
Mhm.
in the 80s, and then 5 years later, a quadruple redo at the age of 44, and then she passed away, like right after, like less than 6 months.
Okay. And my other question is, I asked my friend this a couple months ago. Um, Being a Gen Xer, this is way before internet and all that kind of stuff. How did you find out about cutting and what it can do for you, or
I did
was
not
it
know. Oh, I
okay?
didn't know. Oh, no, no, there wasn't there. I was 3 and 4 and 5. They
Okay.
called me I didn't know that I was a baby cutter until I did the past regression hypnosis where I brought these things out.
Okay. Okay. So
Yeah,
more or
so
less
they
from
would
the
label
scratch.
me in 2013 a baby cutter.
Okay.
I didn't have that back then. So
Okay.
I had no diagnoses ever my whole entire life until 2020.
Okay. Until 2020.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah.
So COVID was a busy year for you then.
Well,
Find-
yeah,
Finding that
well,
diagnosis. You
it changed my life forever. Actually, it pushed me over the edge. I'm a nurse, and I worked, and I I I was traumatized by my job so bad that my PTSD was full blown acute, and it
Yeah.
was over the top. I could not. When I tell you that one of the stories that brought me to PTSD, that I didn't know I had PTSD from this.
Mhm.
I always thought that was like the weak person's disease. I literally thought it was a, men- a mental illness for the weak.
Okay.
And I wasn't weak. I was very, very strong.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought you could throw anything at me, and I could either like do nothing, or I could walk through fire. And I didn't know that that was the fight, flight, and freeze of PTSD. Like I did
Yeah.
not know that. Like I could feel nothing and walk through. You know, I feel like when I was newly sober and I was working as a nurse, and this nurse said to me, I used to go out, I used to smoke. I don't smoke anymore. Quit that habit. I don't vape either. So, anyways, I used to go out and smoke a cigarette in the parking lot. And I worked 7 p.m. to 7:30 a.m. So it was like I would go out at like midnight into kind of like, I guess the neighborhood wasn't, I don't know, it didn't seem dangerous to me. I went out and smoked a cigarette, and I'd come back and she'd go, "How do you go out there? Aren't you afraid?" I've always been baffled by people who are like normal, because I would be like, "What, afraid of what?" Like, you know,
Yeah.
and she's like, it's a terrible neighborhood out there. There's like all kinds of like whatever. And I go, huh. I go, I think I have like a fear displacement, like that doesn't scare me. Like I could walk down the alley at 3 o'clock in the morning and
Yeah.
really in the hood, and I would be fine. But if I needed to make an important phone call that would help me progress something in my life that I need
Yeah.
to take care of legally or not legally or whatever, I just need to do it. I have tremendous fear.
Yeah.
I can't talk. I can't do it. I can't, like, and what is that? Like, so, you know, um, yeah, those are
What did it what was your reaction? Like how did you take it? Like accepting, that's a good word. How did you accept having PTSD in 2020 when you came to that realization, coming from being so strong and
Well,
what you
this
said
is how I came. This is how, all right. So I was having more and more recognizing like, uh, so meetings were less. So I couldn't be at meetings
Yeah.
less. I was driving to Ventura to go to in-person meetings. I wasn't doing the Zoom, or because it hadn't started yet. I didn't realize that my immersion into meetings, 12-step meetings, was like saving face, you know. I had gotten over suicidal ideation, which I didn't know I had until I was sober, that I was having it like all the time. Like if I needed something, it was like it was like a piece of, it was like a mental Xanax to think of an ideation of suicide that would make me feel better about what was happening right now.
Yeah.
And I started to see things like that. So and in 2020, people would talk to me and I pose them as a threat. And if I pose them as a threat, I either need to fight them, I need to run away, or I'm going to freeze because I don't know I have PTSD. And because I'm sober, I can't fight them anymore. I used to fight people all the time. They would come to my front door and they'd ask for something. They'd ask for someone, and if it wasn't, it was a threat. If I don't consciously decide that they're a threat. The PTSD was deciding for me, and it was making me react. I didn't consciously go, okay, well, this person is probably not a good person, so I probably should just ask them to leave. Like if that was a thing, I would probably do it, but it was not a thing. It was like, knock on the door. You're asking for my husband. I just caught you having sex with him, so I'm going to kick you in the chest and knock you the fuck out. You know what I mean? Like those are the kinds, that's how I reacted to things. And I had no regret. I was like, I handled it. Karma is evened out. And I had this rationale that I took care, like, you know, a vigilante. Like I just evened it all out. Like I had some kind of superpower, you know. It was really weird, but that's how I was. And so I was talking to a friend who referred me to someone who did EMDR in addiction.
Yep.
And I did the initial intake. It was about an hour and a half. And I was having people in my work dying. I got to the place where I could smell the people that were going to die with COVID. That's how bad it freaking was. And I was in biohazard gear, but I could walk into a room and smell that smell. And now I'm like traumatized, but I don't know I'm traumatized. I don't know these things. I don't know this is happening. I had a doctor call me on the phone and ask me some questions, and they were like angry, and I couldn't answer something I could normally answer. And they're like, what's wrong with you? I'm gonna have to report you. And they're like going off. And the more they were yelling at me, the worse it got. Like, nothing. And then I went to the bathroom and my face was bright red. My mouth was so dry. I felt like my heart was strangling me, my throat. And I was like, I couldn't breathe, shortness of breath, and my heart was pounding. And I was having these like symptoms, and I don't have anything to calm down. I don't do anything. You know, I started adaptogens because I was like, something's gotta like fix me. And that's when I was realizing I knew I had something was wrong with me. And then when I had that meeting with the EMDR, you know, go over like sexual assaults and then my memory of the childhood and like how far I had gotten along in the age regression hypnosis. I got up to like age 7, but I don't know anything from 7 to 16. You know, like I have all this like breakdown, this like layered, you know, you heard like layer of the onion, you know, like peeling apart layer of the onion and sort of like that, I guess. I don't know. But I needed to go to my medical plan and to get some diagnoses from this psychologist. She said, I need you to just go and like, you know, give them this information. And I had never gone to complain about my mental problems because remember, I'm like strong. I can do anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm smarter and I know more than you. I've taken care of my own health and I've prevented lots of things for my health. So I'm like everything. I'm like my number one. Like I'm the protector. I'm the survivor. I'm the girl that knows. You know, and what took me so long to like even know that I had a drinking problem was because I was the intellectual type. was nothing I couldn't outthink or outdo, you know, and I never got into a place where I was like hopeless. I could make a plan, you
That makes
know,
sense.
and even
So
if it was like a criminal plan, I planned my out
yeah.
before I planned my in, you know, like I was always covered, you know, like as if I don't want to say it on here, but
Well, no, yeah, it's fine. Well,
yeah.
then growing up, what you know, was your mom a single mom of you three, or was
No,
she?
my mom, okay, she died at 44 and was married 5 times. So
Okay,
she wasn't necessarily single.
yeah, she was a serial dater or marrier or whatever you want to.
Yeah, and she always dated alcoholics. If I look back, you know, and so she had one so I wasn't in kindergarten yet, so I had to have been about 4, and it was we had moved from the place that I was on the porch in the diaper,
Mhm.
and so I think I'm like 4, and I had gone to the grocery store. She'd give me money for milk, and I had a couple extra cents, so I bought a plum with it. And then it took me a long time to eat the plum and get on my bike with the gallon of milk on my handlebars. So I was 4. So a gallon of milk on handlebars. That's Gen X's, you know what I mean? We were hardcore. So here I'm with a gallon of milk and I crash in the on the curb. And I remember laying on there watching the milk drain out of the gallon of milk, and I knew I was going to be in trouble. Well, I was in trouble. So I had told my mom that when she has her biker boyfriends beat me or spank me, that it didn't hurt. And I think I told her that so that they would just go, oh, it doesn't hurt her, so we're not going to do it anymore. I don't know. I'm 4, so I don't know what kind of rationale I probably had. But so they decided to get a stick and drill holes in it. And then I'm a little blonde towhead. And, you know, these big biker dudes are making me bare my ass laying over a bed and beating me with a stick with holes in it. And I think back to my mom like, what?
Yeah,
She
that's
had some wicked control over these guys. I don't know what she had that could make them do that to me. I don't know if there was any. I don't know if I've ever been anything sexual. I don't know. I don't know. If that's the case, that shit's very deep as ugh.
yeah, yeah. I can't imagine. I mean, so because the beatings, you have memory far back of those beatings. It's hard to even have memories, you know, before you're 6, let alone those traumatic ones be the only memories that you have.
Yeah, so yeah, isn't that sad? Like I don't know that I have these issues until I do. I for 2 years did age regression hypnosis. It took forever, I feel like. But I brought out so much stuff, and I had to stop. I moved, but I also got overwhelmed.
Yeah,
I needed to be like, I needed to be here, you know. I need to
mm,
be present for today.
yeah,
um you know, you can't change your past, and the greatest thing is I've been able to build up my recovery life higher than my past. So my past
yeah,
has always been like here. It'll never get any bigger than that. But I'm able to build my recovery and my mental health and my treatment for PTSD higher than that.
yeah,
So that when stuff comes in, I lean to the one that's the strongest now. You know, I don't need to lean to those messed up neurotransmitters that took me down the bad path of decision making, which is
yeah.
what
So,
I ultimately did.
of 14 years of recovery, you've been doing the most work on yourself theoretically in the last 5 years. Then,
Yes.
like
So I
mental
did a
health
lot.
wise.
Right. So to be honest, so I wasn't even until had lots of commitments at meetings.
Mm,
I was 3 years sober before I would share at a meeting, like, you know, raise my hand or, say,
Oh,
hey,
really? It took 3
my name
years.
is Stephanie and I'm
You're Jennifer.
yeah, so it took 3 years because the first year I thought, what a bunch of bitches. Everyone complains. I didn't connect to anybody. I didn't do fellowship. And then I started making friends and I started like seeing like people weren't looking through me. I always felt invisible, everywhere I went. I thought people just looked right past me. Nobody wanted to talk to me and I didn't talk to no one, and, come to find out, I always pushed everybody away. I didn't make any connection to anybody. And so I always like slept away. So, and I found out later, like people were like trying to like get me to come with them. They're like, come with us. But I would always like get in my car and I wouldn't hear anybody and I drove away, and yeah, I didn't connect to people because I think that like 3-year-old on the porch was like, what are these people like here? I knew I felt better when I left.
Yeah.
I knew that without a doubt. I knew it was helping me. I knew I'd found a place that I could actually like. It's been an evolution of figuring out myself and admitting I'll never, like I was never the one to admit a default because I needed to fix it. I have to fix it first. I can't ask for help. And to be honest, I've also, since I am the intellectual, I have a very good, I have a clear audience. So I hear stuff, I know stuff, and I don't know where it comes from. I always say, just Google check me. It's easier. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why I know and where I know it from. But
Yeah.
so I just found myself like being like my own boss and so I was in a relationship. I want to explain what another traumatic event that really like pushed me over the edge, and my dog's hanging out with me because he's tripping on my wig. Anyways, so I had separated from my husband. We were living in San Clemente, and I moved across the United States to Virginia, like so that like he'd have no way to like knock on my door and show up at my house or anything. And I took our son and I went across the United States. And I was there for a year, and he was like, "Oh, come to my Christmas party, bring." I had already sent my son back with him because I thought it was terrible that I took him away from his father, and that so I thought, okay, there was some other trauma stuff happening, and I actually went to jail over smacking him. I had just gotten out of surgery, and anyways, that's trauma in itself. But anyways, so he's in California. I just want to skip. There's like massive amounts of trauma in between. Anyways, so I come back to California from Virginia, and I go to this like Christmas party. It was on like the 23rd or whatever, and I'm drinking martinis, and I'm on probation. But I'm in another state. Nobody's there to check me, and I'm drinking. And I had this friend who gave me an e-kit. An e-kit's called an emergency kit at a skilled nursing. She gave me the liquid e-kit. So liquid is injectables. So I take Demerol and Ativan and Valium and everything, and I intramuscular shoot it up on the 24th because I'm leaving on the 25th to fly back to Virginia.
Okay, this is in California.
This is in California, okay. And then the morning and afternoon of the 24th, I'm leaving on the 25th to go back to Virginia.
You had to fly on Christmas Day?
Yeah, I did it for, I guess, financial reasons. Well, it doesn't matter.
Okay, yeah, so, yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, sometimes I hear things and I get my mind.
And I was like, what?
As an interviewer, I'm like, I gotta ask. I gotta find out.
I gotta find out. What is she doing? So anyways, so the story, like, so I have to get rid of all the drugs because the the injectables.
Yeah.
And I'm drinking, of course. I'm drinking my vodka cranberries, and I'm smoking weed. And because back in Virginia, all they're doing is they're just checking my blood alcohol level. That's it.
Yeah.
So, anyways, I'm pretty high, and I'm doing up the laundry. So I'm like leaving my husband. I'm in the middle of divorcing him, so I'm leaving my husband and my son with like clean clothes, like, you know, just the mama touch, you know. And so I'm in the garage, and I'm you know, doing the laundry, and my husband comes in, and I'm just going to set the scene. So the way I'm sitting now would be me sitting on the dryer. Okay. And then the garage would be right here are 3 garage spaces. Oops. So like that, like that, like that. Okay. And then there's a walkway to the garage door where it goes out like that. And then there's a walkway in front of this garage door. So he comes in, and I'm like facing him. His back's to the garage door, or the, you know, door. And he's like, "Oh, you wanted to get, like, can we get back together? Can you move back home?" Like, you know. And I'm like, "No, I don't think I could be with you. You're sick." And I have no idea I'm sick.
I was gonna
None.
say while you're
None.
injecting
Zero. But I can tell you are sick. I'm like, you are messed up. Messed up. There's no way. I've seen things I don't, yeah. So and so he turns around and walks out the door, and I get off the dryer, and I like fold the rest of the laundry, and I leave it there, and I'm gonna go back in the house. I'm gonna go like get a cigarette, I guess. And as I walk out this door right here, that's open right here, I look down on the walkway, and there is like drops of blood, like about that big, like that. And I like follow the path, and I look that way, and that's the street. It's a two each, you know, it's a neighborhood, a residential neighborhood with, you know, a street. And I see him on his knees with his back to me, but his head facing me. So I run.
lean back.
His head is
His head
all the
back.
way back.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, and I'll tell you why. Just hang on. Here we go.
Mhm.
I run out there, and I get in front of him, and he had slit his throat. So, and cut all the muscles. So the head was laying backwards. And the blood is shooting out like a river. Just like the movies. Just like the movies. I look up, and there's people on the streets, and I'm screaming, "Call 911!" And people are on their cell phones, obviously. And it's like dim light, you know, dusk starting to happen, and cars are coming. I pull up his head like that to meet the cut closed. And where the blood was squishing out, I stuck my fingers down in it. And I held it like that. Seemed like forever. And I'm screaming, and he says to me, he didn't cut his, I've never told anyone this, he didn't cut his larynx. He says, "I can't live without you." And I've never told anyone that. I can't believe I just said that now. And I look up, and it's dark, and there's a car facing with 2 lights on me. I can't imagine what they saw. I cannot imagine. Streets were lined full of people. It's 2009. And next thing you know, I don't hear sirens. I finally work the sirens out later in a meditation or a hypnosis, and cry through the sirens. I hear nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And I'll tell you, I was loaded. I had just shot up all that stuff, been drinking and smoking. And next thing you know, they pull him up, and they wrap these they clip this sandbag thing on his neck.
Yep.
And they take him away. And then seconds later, I'm on my knees, and I happened to be wearing a white thermal with the American Red Cross on the front of it. Because I'm a nurse. I just thought it was a cool thermal, and I was wearing it, and I was covered. I was dripping. Blood was dripping off of me. It was everywhere. I was soaked. And I get stood up and handcuffed. And my whole world changed, and I dragged away.
Why did they? We'll get to that. Go ahead. Keep going. I'm interrupting. Go ahead.
It's okay. Yeah, and so I ended up being under investigation on the street, freezing in wet, bloody clothes for like 4.5 hours.
So this is Christmas Eve. This is Christmas Eve 2009.
Mm-hmm.
And you're in California, about to fly back to Virginia.
Yes.
Your husband's soon-to-be ex-husband takes one last chance at getting back with you. You say, no, this isn't working. He walks away and slits his wrist, and now you're in handcuffs. And
he slits his neck.
Neck. And then you're in handcuffs, and it's kind of one of those, not that I've been in your shoes, but like where you just like want, like, is that what you were hearing? Is like the Charlie Brown?
Literally, well, you know how if you've ever like been in an altered, state of mind, you can't like tell time or feel time or anything like that. And yes, they were saying things to me that that I didn't understand. You think I did that? Like, I was baffled. I remember being so baffled, and all I wanted was a cigarette. And I was like, there's a brand new pack on the table in there. Can you please go get it? And nobody had a cigarette. Nobody had a cigarette for 4.5 hours. I wanted a fucking cigarette. Don't you think like I was a smoker? Like this kind of thing needs a cigarette. And oh my God. Okay. So
I'm a smoker. I get it, Jennifer.
And
I'm a smoker.
They took my cigarettes. I was like, the full pack of cigarettes, because it had blood on it.
What? Can I?
Did it in the kitchen, and when he turned around, he must have dropped the knife like next on the table where and then they were saying things like, "Oh, is your fingerprints going to be on the knife?" And I'm like, "What? I don't know. I don't know what knife it is." I'm like, I made food in the kitchen. Probably.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it was terrible. It was such torture.
I have a couple of questions. How long were you with him? When did you meet? How old were you when you met him?
So we are actually still married. So it's 30
okay.
years.
Oh, he survived.
He survived.
Holy shit.
Yeah. That saved his life.
Mm-hmm. Putting your finger in his neck.
Mm-hmm. That's what they told me.
Holy
he lost
shit.
5 units of blood. I mean, he was about to just like disappear.
Bleed out. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I swear I was wearing 2 or 3 liters of it on me. So
since he survived, he was able to tell the police that you had nothing to do with it, and he did it.
Yep.
Okay.
He wrote it. He wrote. They asked him who did it
in the hospital while he was
in the hospital, and he wrote me.
Okay.
And then that's when they finally let me go.
Is it? Okay, wow. I know you don't have a ton of time, but I have some questions, obviously, Jennifer.
Yeah, go for it.
Holy shit. So, you obviously didn't go back to Virginia after that, like right away. You didn't fly back the next day as the plans were supposed to. Okay.
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't drink. I couldn't eat. I could smoke.
Yeah.
I couldn't like finish the cigarette. Like I could take a puff.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't smoke it. I couldn't do anything.
Did how long before you got back with him, like, and work things out?
So we didn't work anything out. He got released from the hospital. and I put my son in care with the neighbor, which I knew her really well. I
Mm.
couldn't bring him back with me. I had to get back. Otherwise, I was going to go to jail. My probation officer was cool about it at the time and said, you have to get back. So I went back. So this is Christmas of 2009. I didn't come back to California until February of 2012. That's how long it took.
2012?
Yeah. So
So
3 years it took for me to get back
to California.
to California.
You
I
had to sit
was,
in Virginia for 2 years
yes,
because of probation.
yes. So, and then also
Okay.
I was drinking and manipulating that
Yeah.
situation. And I mean, I had to go blow colors, and I had to go between like 6 and 9 in the morning. And it was like 5:30 in the morning, and I was drinking my last drink, and I went, and they took me. I didn't care. Like I could never understand why I couldn't drink, like what's the big deal? But
So did you guys split custody from across the country for those 2 years?
So what happened was my for the 2 years we didn't split custody. The following that next summer, I'm in Virginia, my sister lives in Pennsylvania, and my son, I couldn't ever get a hold of him on the phone to talk to my son, to say, hi, how you doing? Like, mom misses you. I love you. Like
How
anything.
old was he at this time?
He was, so at this time, he was 10.
Okay.
10. Yeah. And they ushered him past me. He did see me covered in blood. He did not know what happened to his dad at the time. We had bought him a Wii, and he was upstairs playing. He was up in the apartment playing Wii, so he never got to see it. But the police and the neighbor all ushered him, like blocked him from the crime scene, and just like pushed him all the way, into the neighbor's house. And so, he's got issues with that shit because he saw me.
Yeah, covered in blood.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't know what's wrong.
Yeah. Doesn't know if it's your blood or somebody else's, let alone his
Doesn't know
father.
anything.
Yeah.
He knows his dad is gone.
Okay.
They just said your dad just taken to the hospital.
Okay.
That's scary for a kid.
Yeah.
Anyways, I left him there because I couldn't bring him back. Like I was
Mhm.
like, my hands were tied. I had to. I didn't know I was so sick with PTSD at this time. Obviously, I have
Yeah.
other things that caused the PTSD, but this was another one that pushed me over the edge.
Yeah.
And I more than once had been pushed over the edge in my life. And, I was recovered. It's like, we have a disease that forgets we have it. And so it's the same. The PTSD will do anything to protect you, so it'll erase it.
Yeah.
And the only problem with that, what PTSD does to well, it's done to me, is that I've been so hyper vigilant my whole life of things outside of me. A hyper empath, a hyper this, a hyper read this, read that, do this, protect yourself here, just like all this stuff that inside I have self erased myself. And because of the PTSD blocking everything, like I'm like a new person every day,
Yeah.
and people are like, I mean, I guess I have no other way to live but a sober life, so it's gonna come in regardless if I try not to like talk about it a lot.
Yeah.
But I was like 2 years sober before I actually ever felt the feeling of what okay felt. And I was driving my car. I was like, I don't know if I left the bank or I was kind of in the neighborhood of my bank, and I'll just never forget it. It was like those burning bush moments where it's almost spiritual.
Mhm.
And I was like, I finally felt okay. And I remember throughout my whole life, childhood, everything, people were like, oh, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay. And I could never understand what that meant. Like, what is okay? Nothing was ever okay. If I look back, it was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
Nothing was okay. But I finally felt what it possibly felt like. Like I had a confidence that I knew what okay meant.
Yeah.
And those are like, those are steps. Those are
Yeah.
steps in your life of just the betterment.
Yeah. Have
And
you worked them? Have you worked
oh,
steps?
oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay. Well,
I
I know
am.
because you were so like not standoffish, but like not connected the first couple of years. I wasn't sure if you had
Oh,
found a
oh,
sponsor
so
and went through them,
I
while
mean, I
you were.
could tell you what I've done if you want to know. So I'm the founder of an Alano club in Los Angeles, and which has 24 plus 12-step meetings. It's
Okay.
called The Yard.
Oh, yeah.
I founded
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm
Okay.
doing paperwork right now for it.
Yeah.
Did I know it was going to be successful like this? No. How many people has told me, some really smart people told me, Stephanie, people, oh,
I
Jennifer.
know. It's fine. You did it 3 times now. And I just,
Oh, I have.
yeah. I used to come there years before it was called the Yard.
Oh, yeah. On the Saturday night.
Saturday, 8 o'clock. I mean, these are most of these are done in that yard.
Yeah.
Like my first one that was done was the Let It Be right here.
Aw.
I got right there. I know you can see her name right here.
I do. I see it.
Yeah, so what happened was I was, I was doing the steps, I was going to AA, and I was having trouble with step 2 or step 3. And my sponsor was telling me, "All right, now you're doing great. Now I want you to verbally tell me let go, let God." I said, "No."
Yeah.
I'm not saying
Yeah.
it. I don't like the G word. Like I'm better with it now, but like I wasn't okay with it then, 2 months into it. I was like, no, I'm a recovering Catholic. This isn't happening. Like is what I
Yeah.
still call myself a recovering Catholic. And he was like, just say let go, let God. And I said, I can't do it, man. I can't do it. And we're sitting there like at a stalemate, smoking a cigarette, like in this little, like, porch area kind of deal, over in where the fuck, Culver City, and or no, Marina Del Rey is where he lived. And I used to walk from Culver City to Marina to go to his house all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
And I was like, listen, at the time I had 2 tattoos. I had my last name from when I was 18, and I had Progress Not Perfection. I got tattooed on my inner arm
Yeah.
at 28 days sober on the Venice Boardwalk.
Yeah.
I had, and this is like a month later, and I had met the person that we're talking about in the meetings, and became friends with her. And I knew that I wanted to get a tattoo from her, and
Mhm.
she had offered me one for free as a newcomer. She does free tattoos if you're a newcomer. Well,
Yeah.
she did then. And so I was always trying to think of what it was, and I was like, listen, I love the song Let It Be. It's one of my favorite songs ever. Reminds me of my dad, who since passed away. And now, so
Mhm.
I'm really glad I have this tattoo now, because my dad and I are best friends.
Oh,
And
that's good.
and I said, what if I get Let It Be tattooed on my arm to
Mhm.
always remind me of doing the 3rd step instead of saying let go, let God?
Nice.
And he said, you're going to get it tattooed on you, Let It Be. I said, I'll do it tonight. Tomorrow you'll see me with it on my arm. That's how serious I am, instead of saying let go, let God. He said, all right, if I see you tomorrow at the time it was, the meeting over at noon in Marina, I'm talking about the Marina
Yep.
Center.
Mhm.
And
Yep.
and we used to go every day at noon. He goes, I see you at noon tomorrow with that tattoo. I'll move you on to the 4th step. I said, all right. And I texted her right away. I said, hey, can I come by
I
tonight
love
for the
that.
tattoo? She's like,
I love
yep,
that
come on by.
promotion.
And didn't even stencil it, just free-handed it.
Oh, she doesn't
And
stencil anything.
then since then, I think she's given me 25 tattoos, including
Nice.
my wife and I's wedding ringer. She did.
Yeah.
She was driving to New York City, and I was living in Pennsylvania. I live in Pennsylvania, where I live in Bloomsburg. It's kind
You
of
live
in the
in
mountains.
Pennsylvania right now?
What's that?
You live in Pennsylvania right now?
Yeah. I live in Bloomsburg, Pennsylvania. It's like,
I'm moving to Pennsylvania within like 3 years or so.
oh, really? Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm like 45 minutes west of the Poconos, an hour like southwest of Scranton, an hour northeast of Harrisburg.
Yeah.
Our town's known for Bloomsburg Fair and the college
Yeah.
university, Bloomsburg
Cool.
University.
That's
And she
awesome.
was driving through. She's like, I'm in Harrisburg. What are you doing? I said, it's COVID. It's 2020.
Yeah.
And I was like, tomorrow's my birthday. We're just sitting around, not doing shit. At this point, I'm 8 months sober from alcohol. My wife and I quit drinking on leap day of 2020 together.
Nice.
And then COVID shut down everything. We're like, all right, now we're really not drinking. And so she's coming through. And I'm like, she goes, tomorrow's your birthday? I said, yeah. And she was like, all right, I'm going to be by. Give me the directions. And she came by and
Good.
she's like, all right, what do you want tattooed? And she's there with like her now fiance and Dada. And like Dada was afraid of my wooden steps. So Kyle had to carry Dada on her pound dog up our steps. And I was like, we're getting married soon. We think in 2 months. We don't really know. Whenever my wife's divorce got finalized, we were going to get married right away, which we ended up doing 2 months later. It's like, but we're going to get married. We want you to do our wedding ring tattoos now. And so
That's
before we
good.
even got married, we had our wedding ring tattoos tattooed on us. So
Nice.
talk about the ultimate kind of jinx.
Yeah.
Instead of wearing your wedding band, we had them tattooed on us. But yeah, she's given me something like 25 tattoos over the years since I met her. But yeah, I love the yard.
I think and I found my people, and
Yeah,
when I met
yeah,
my friend there
yeah.
in 20 I think it was 2016, and then I started hanging out in 2017, and
Did
by
we meet then in
2018,
2018?
huh?
Did we meet in 2018 then?
I feel like we did.
I was
You
so
look
fresh
familiar.
into it that like it's kind of a
Yeah,
blur for
so
me.
I was there 2018, and just like, but my son had in September of 2018 got arrested for uh attempted murder, um premeditated attempted murder, terrorist threats, aggravated mayhem, felony aggravated mayhem, which is dismemberment or disfiguration of another person. And I was desperate. I was desperate because I don't know yet that I have PTSD. That's
Yeah,
another thing that probably pushed me over the cliff and shut me down so bad. And the only way I could feel alive was showing up and just being a part of the journey there. Um, I became like the secretary of the Saturday night meeting, and I would drive. I lived in South OC. I would drive. I worked at 11 and the meeting was at 9. I would
hmm,
leave my house at 8 o'clock or like 7:45. I'd get there a little before 9, and then I do the meeting, and then I would go. I had a very fast car. I had a red line Challenger 6-speed V8 supercharged car, and I would fly to work. So there'd be no one on the freeway
yeah,
at like 10 o'clock at night. I mean, I would like slip out at 10 and I would go all the way, and those are the kinds of things I did that saved my life. And
yeah,
until I couldn't, and then that's when I started feeling the PTSD that's so
prevalent.
awful,
Yeah,
and when I was before I turned 3 years sober. So in March is when my birthday is in December 30th of the year before. I lost my grandmother. I lost my dad on January 8th. I lost my closest uncle on like March 4th, and then on May 14th, I lost my best friend, and then on June 15th, I lost my little sister. So in 6 months, I lost 5 people in my life, and I know you can stay sober through anything. I mean, look
yeah,
at that. That's
yeah,
it worked. I did it. I don't know what I just I have always been the type that I'm gonna go and do what I do to make myself feel better, or that if I'm aware, like I can't like be a jerk to anybody anymore. So in a lot of ways, it's always helped me because remember I have that fight or flight or
Yeah.
freeze, and I was a fighter, big time fighter. Oh, did I fight people? Oh my God. I even just, my son, who the one who went to prison is out of prison. And he was 4 years old, and he's like, he tells me this story, like almost within hours of me seeing him after he's out. And he says, I always tell this story. My mom's such a badass that I was getting ice cream, and then you like beat this girl up, and yeah, you just do, like you could just handle anything. But I was like, yeah, I she was on rollerblades and I beat her ass because she I thought she whatever flattened my tires on my car. And she was at a payphone, and he was with my friend getting ice cream. We were getting ice cream, and I said, I'll be right back. And I go across the street where you could totally see me. It's like 10th and Redondo. And and I beat her up, and I'm like hitting her in the face. I'm like, bam! And all of a sudden I see my watch go flying, and I'm like, you fucking bitch. And I went to go get my watch and to put it back on, and my hand was upside down.
Oh my God.
She kicked me with her rollerblades.
Oh.
And yeah, I guess the rollerblade broke my arm up. And so here I am, like doing that, justifying, making it right. And then she's going to go to jail because she assault with a deadly bat with a, So here I am with my son, and I'm screaming on the way to the hospital, but this is the story he tells people about his mom. And I had to say, hey, you know what? Like, I didn't keep you safe. Like, that's terrible. Like, I think about that now. I have lived vicariously through people because I don't know how to act. In the first year of my sobriety, I watched Netflix series after Netflix series and I never watched television. So I just watched I would sleep, work, watch TV, sleep, work. And what I was watching for, and I'd go to meetings, but what I was watching for was how people talk to each other.
Yeah.
How do you have a relationship with people?
A dialogue.
I don't know how to do that. I felt very left out of that one because of probably my childhood. And
I was going to say, you never learned how to see a real conversation between adults to go with you. I mean, you watched your mom get married over and over growing up, so you never got to see what stability was like or what a real conversation looked like, how you work things out as adults in a marriage as a team. All you saw was fight and, get out. I'll try this again. Fight, get out. I'll try this again. That's all you ever were accustomed to. That's what you learned. As a learned behavior as a child.
So I always had to end the threat. I had to end the threat. Yeah. And I wasn't actually like consciously, it was subconsciously the mental illness recognizing the threat and doing making me do. Like I felt like a puppet. Like I was self-erasing myself for years.
Yeah.
And so, like, yeah, I just had to stop the threat. I had to survive and stop the threat, and I have lots of medical issues, like lots. And I don't even know how I'm here.
Yeah. And so you had said before we got on it, you want to talk about childhood and adulthood. Did we skip one of those, or because we talked about two different things? Are those the ones we wanted to hone in on today?
I did want to talk about those, and we did. So we talked about what I wanted to. There's so many other things. Not that they're less important or that they didn't play a part in my whole psyche, is that I'm just very complex.
Yeah.
And so,
so can I ask this question, Jennifer? And this is more about the 2012-ish, 2013-ish. This question I love to ask on both of my shows because it tells me what it was like at the end. But what was the final straw for you to be like, I need to seek recovery?
Oh, that was a huge trauma. It's really, really, really big.
Can we cover
I
it
don't
in
know if
20 or less?
I can do it in 20
Okay.
minutes.
Okay.
Maybe
Okay.
15 minutes. I could probably
That's fine.
finish.
You can, there's no
Okay,
time limit
so
on my show. I just want to keep you at your,
so I come back to California February 2012.
Mhm.
Okay, so I think it was February 26th, and I got sober March 17th. So
Okay.
3 weeks ish.
18 days. Yeah.
Yeah, 18 days. I got sober. I never had a drink again. Never had a drink or a drug. Anyways, so I come back to California and I need health insurance. So that's the whole reason why I'm coming back. I have a very swollen head, my pituitary gland, like I have like all these medical issues. And my husband was working and had PPO that he didn't even have to pay for. So we had PPO. And so he's running his own criminal empire. He's got a girlfriend and she's like 20 years older than him. Like she's a gilf or whatever you call it.
Gil.
She was a see you next Tuesday.
Yeah. You know, that's a meeting name in West Hollywood.
What?
I used to go to West Hollywood Recovery Center on Tuesdays at 8:00.
And it
I
was
would
see you next
Uber
Tuesday.
there because specifically their name was See You Next Tuesday.
Oh,
And I would make sure I went to that meeting every Tuesday at 8:00 because I love the name of it so much. And the other thing I want to say is I thought my Saturday nights were crazy, but I think you might have topped it with your commutes. I used to go to a CA meeting at a church on Sepulveda in Culver City at CA, and then I would Uber from there to Venice to the yard, and then I would do that from 9 to 10 or whatever, and then I would walk from there to Marina Center for late night at 11:00.
Late night.
And that was my Saturday night. Every night was Culver, Venice, and then walk to late night and then get a ride home by somebody at late night. And because I lived in Culver City right off Sepulveda.
All right, let me finish this story.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Jennifer's in the house.
Yeah.
So anyways, I'm there and there's all these people in and out of the house. There's these girls that were like prostitutes, and I'm sure my husband was having sex with everybody. Who knows? I was catching him in the garage with women across the street. I was huffing and taking pills and drinking and smoking and everything. I didn't have any money. I literally had nothing. I had my car. I drove my car from Virginia to California. I just packed just essentials, like things that were like heirlooms or like whatever. I had a big car, a Dodge Magnum station wagon.
Yeah.
So it fit a lot. It was just me and I, had everything. So I had that car, no gas. But anyways, it was a Friday night, and the girlfriend my husband had didn't live there with him. She lived down the street at her brother's house or something like that. And I'd see her on occasion, and she'd act like she was just some kind of special bitch. I don't know, whatever. Whatever. So I go out with this one girl that I had taken to this place the week before. I'd given her a ride to this place called I Hope. It was just like a resource place for like homeless or like food or like whatever. I don't know. So I take it. I don't know anything about I don't understand any of that. Like I've never needed to go to one of those places before that I know of. But anyway, so I know where it's at. So that's kind of a key thing. So I go out. It's March 16th. I go out to the bar. I have no money. The girl I'm with, who's sort of prostituting, she's a sex worker or whatever. So I've always liked sex workers, and I still like sex workers. I don't know what kind of, I've never had sexual freedom, so I don't know how they have it. And I live vicariously through it because I think it seems magical to me that you could be that way. But anyway, so that's just my thought on it. I don't have any bad thing to say about a sex worker. I love them. My closest friend is one. So anyway,
I agree. I'm on the same page as you.
Yeah, so I don't have anything against it, and I think that they're needed no matter what because it's just they're needed.
The oldest profession in the world.
So I go with her, and she's like, I'm going to teach you how to get drinks from guys. And we're all like dressed up, and so I'm, getting free drinks, and we end up leaving. I think it was probably like 12:30 where, she had somebody she was going to go meet, or she was leaving to go with somebody to work or whatever. And so she kind of like walked me halfway back, and then before she took off, and then I walk in the house. And it's an apartment. It's the apartment that I was there with my husband. It's the apartment where he slit his throat. It's the apartment where we raised our son. And it's an apartment. He kept the apartment once I left, and he stayed. And so I was with him 12 years before all this. So anyways, the girl was okay. So I'm sitting here, and then the couch is like this, and she's sitting in like a chair, kind of like, it's hard, the camera doesn't really show my point of view. So she's sitting in a chair like right here, and I'm sitting here, and she's telling me, because he helped me drive back. He flew out, and then he'd help me drive back to get me back safely, whatever. And she says to me, she says, oh, she goes, I just want to let you know that I let him come get you. And I was like, oh, don't talk to me. You probably shouldn't talk to me. Like, don't talk to me, because if I feel threatened, I'm going to kill her.
Yeah.
And I don't have any control over it. And I'm drinking. And she says, I'm not afraid of you. I was like, I told her, you shouldn't have said that. And I sat there for a few minutes, and she just was like, I said, well, I go, he does, don't lose any weight. He does love fat girls. And, girls don't like to be called fat. So I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to assault her so that I don't physically assault her. Like that'll be enough.
Yeah.
I know enough that my body's going to react, and I'm not going to have no control. I'm going to see red or black out. I don't know what's going to happen. And sure enough, I did. Within a half a second, I was on top of her on the chair, beating her head. And then I yank her off the chair, and then I get her head between my legs. I got her head between my legs, like right on my lap, between my legs, and my legs are crossed. And I am going to I'm going to snap that fucking neck. She won't shut the fuck up. And her arms were up scratching my face. Like, I had 16 nail scratches afterwards, just embedded in my nails, like Linda Blair of The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And I was bleeding down my face because she was trying to save her own life. And I was just getting ready. I was like, bam, bam, bam. And I was getting ready to boom and take her out. And my fucking husband came in the room and pulled my legs apart and got her free. Saved her life. Good for him.
Saved your life.
Yeah, saved my life too. But saved her life, because I was going to take it. And that was the lowest I have ever gone in my entire life afterwards. And that happened the morning of the 17th. And then I heard what she looked like. She was taken to the hospital, and they both said that she fell down the stairs. They both said it.
She had asphyxiation. Barely was breathing from falling down the stairs.
I know. Yeah, exactly.
Trauma to her neck.
Trauma to her neck. So she had hematomas all over her head. She had 2 black eyes. Her, I don't know. She had some kind of maybe a ring or something cut her cheek or something. I don't know.
It has to make your husband look bad too, as like they could have assumed your husband was the aggressor.
Yeah, but his hands aren't
not
beat up or anything.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no marks on his hands.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, okay. Nothing. Yeah, he didn't do it.
Yeah.
Nothing. And so I the next day I stayed the night across the street and the neighbors were smoking meth in there. And here's another time when I couldn't like do anything. Like I couldn't do, I was like, ew, I was like recoiled from that. And then a little bit later on March 17th, my friend was Irish and he's like, oh, you want a beer? And I was like, I didn't even know it was St. Patty's Day. I don't remember seeing green out on March 16th either.
You were seeing too much red to see green.
I don't know. I didn't see shit. So he offered me a beer and I was like, no, I can't do it. He goes, really? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, you should have seen her. She's, whatever. So, I eventually I make it over to that IHOP place and I go in there and I have I lost my telephone, but I was able to go the next day and get a SIM card. So I had a SIM card, but no telephone. I got a phone, but it didn't have a charger, and it had one battery. And so I go to this IHOP, and they give me Ziploc bags of food and like tuna and crackers and banana and water and shit. And they gave me like a whole bunch of those because I didn't have any food, and I didn't have any gasoline in my car. But in Virginia, because Marlboro was there and Camel is there, they fought each other in the bars to win customers. So I had free cigarettes. I had coupons for free cigarettes.
Oh, I remember those days. Yeah, North Carolina. I lived in North Carolina.
Okay, yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
They come up to the bars and hand out the
and I would collect them, and they would come
me too.
Every night. We get like she'd just like hand us like a booklet.
My brother and people around me that knew I smoked them, they would get them for me too and shit. Yeah, I loved it.
Oh yeah. So luckily, I had cigarettes to survive. Like I had nothing else, and a neighbor had given me $20, and I was like, so what do I do with this $20? Like, do I get gas? Do I get water? And gas was like 5 something a gallon.
Yeah.
And then like, I didn't know what to do with $20. Like, do I get a burrito? Do I just not eat? So I had to like turn my insulin pump down. And then, but I ended up with that IHOP. They gave me some food, so I was able to make it. And then they gave me I didn't have any way to call. I had one bar on the phone, but I didn't want to use it. So I went to the library and I got on email, and I found a place that took my insurance, and I guess I had a copay, but they sponsored that. I don't know yet what I'm doing. They had asked me at that IHOP, and I was at the place where you don't like admit what's wrong with me or how much you drink. Like I was always a cover up, They're like, oh, do you use drugs? And I was like, no. Yeah, and then, oh, do you drink? And I'm like, yeah, socially. I drink socially. Yeah. And they're like, oh, okay. Well, you can go to like treatment, or you ever heard of rehab? And I'm like, well, like on TV, I think they have like rehab, but I've never watched it. I think that, but I don't know anything about it. And they're like, I go, so, and he goes like, you can't drink or use anything. And you go there, can you do that? And I was like, oh. So he gave me some information, places to call. And so I go out of my car and I go, oh, like 30 days? What? I've never thought of quitting ever. Never thought that. But I was like, he was like telling me I would have a roof over my head. I would have food. I would be able to take a shower. And then
And how old were you at the time, Jennifer?
I was 42.
Okay. And
so I thought, well, okay, I'll do it. I'll try it, And they found a place for me to go, and I went all the way there. And I only had enough gas to get there. They didn't accept me because I take insulin. And so they couldn't have any medical issues. But these girls in the house came up with like 50 cents and $1 and whatever. They got me enough gas to get back to down south a little bit closer. And then I went to the library and I found places that would accept my insurance, and then they sponsored me, and I got in by email. And when I showed up there, so this happened Saturday morning, that fight with the girl. Saturday morning, and I was there by late Tuesday morning. I was in treatment. I went to my very first meeting, 12-step meeting, a women's 12-step meeting the following day on Wednesday. And that was my very first meeting I'd ever been to. And I was in shock. They did this Lord's Prayer, and
I was gonna say, which job?
I heard welcome home.
Yeah, okay.
I heard an attorney say she spent 2 nights in jail, and I was like, "You're my people." I started like feeling like, okay. So, and that journey was an amazing journey to go, and it happened the way it happened. And they gave us these money cards for our food, $100 a week, and I let everyone know that once their card got down to $10, I would buy it from them, for like $12 or $15. So I would buy food, $15 food, and get their card from them. And then California law says that cards that are $10 or less, like the grocery store cards, they can give you the cash back on them. $10 or less. So that's how I ended up getting my gas money to get to meetings. And I just
the SNAP cards.
Yeah, no, they're not SNAP. They were Albertsons cards.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the grocery store card.
Grocery store Albertsons.
Yeah. The treatment place bought them for everybody, and they handed them out once a week. You got $100 a week for your food. We all had our own. We all like shared a refrigerator. There was like 15 of us in this house, and I don't even know how I survived 15 girls, because I hated people. And I know I was in the sober living that I had to leave because I put on the board that if I find out who stole my apple juice, I will kill you. And they said probably shouldn't write kind of stuff on the board. And I'm like, well, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. You don't anywhere else to go. I'm like, I'm going to find one.
Before we end, how long did you spend in sober living before you went back to your husband?
I never went back to him.
But so you said you're still married.
We've been married, but we've never been together.
Okay, so you're legally married, but
legally married, yeah, but not ever been together.
With him since then.
Yes, I haven't lived with him since 2008.
Holy shit, Jennifer.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask the question that people are going to be wondering is why not just the divorce?
Well, first it was I filed, and then I decided to wait till our son turned 18, so there'd be no custody problems. And then, I'm mentally ill. I don't know this though, right? So I don't let anyone do anything for me. I file all myself. I do everything myself. And after 5 years, they discharge it if it's not complete. And then early, I want to say 2013 or 14, I file again. I have one of my sponsees serve him. And so maybe that was 2015. And then in 2020, the pandemic happened, and I didn't get it completed. And then I decided to be his friend, and that ended this year. It's just wicked.
Oh my God. But you said we're still married. In my head, for this last half hour, 45 minutes, I'm like, oh, they're living together happily. And they're
no.
No.
No way. There's no way. No. He put to me, because of what happened this past year, what happened in this friendship. He actually got sober last year in September. But I don't believe that he's kept that sobriety. But and I had this false hope that we would heal together, this dynamic or whatever. It was very, very messed up. He did so many things. And so, but now if he texts me or anything, I go into acute PTSD, and I tell him all the time, this hurts me. You need to stop. I don't block. I blocked him on all social media, of course, but I leave it open. We do have a son, and we did buy a house the beginning of this year together. for our
yourself?
son
Yeah.
in Pennsylvania. And it was supposed to be where we're going to retire. We're going to go be there and like blah, blah, blah. None of that's going to happen.
So that's why you're coming to Pennsylvania in a couple
I'm
years.
coming. Yes.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Okay.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Good.
And my spiritual journey was I was a practicing witch most of my life.
My
And
wife
when I
is
got
now.
sober, I had to let go, because if you're if you're
A
practicing
Wiccan?
Wicca, like even if you're solo, which is what I became in the end, um, you can't be God.
Yeah.
And that's a practice of being God. So you have to stop.
Yeah, my wife's into all that kind of stuff. Not really familiar with it, but
Yeah,
they
it's
do
a great,
recovery dharma. They don't do AA, they do recovery dharma for their recovery.
yeah, that's cool too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I stayed where I landed. And I have a crazy sponsor who's like crazy meetings, crazy God, crazy this. She just is a lot, and it's good because I need
Keeps you great,
someone that can match my high,
your energy.
my high, velocity of
That's
life
awesome.
that I've been
Yeah.
living or can live or do live,
Yeah.
and I co-founded an Alano club on my phone in between doctor visits, and
During COVID.
during
There's no
COVID.
COVID.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
we wanted outdoor meetings, no
Yeah,
mask. I was
exactly. Yeah.
traumatized by the mask at my
Yeah.
work because I had to wear these N95s that were poor
Yeah.
fitting, and we'd
Yeah.
have to reuse them because they didn't have supplies.
Yep.
And God, it was just
No, I remember vividly when, our friend told me about, the meetings starting and progressing from
yeah.
just being a
Yeah, because
fuck
I used to
around
drive
meeting
all the way
to,
to see her in Ventura, and we were going in these underground basement meetings,
yeah.
and they were living out there, and they said that we were going back home, and we started doing a meeting every day.
Yeah, she was on my other show a couple of months ago. She was episode 250.
Okay.
So yeah, making huge progress. Well, Jennifer, it's been amazing getting to know you.
Thank you.
You are welcome back to tell stories on this show. That's why I like this program with the unlicensed therapist, because it's a therapy session, just getting to know each other. And if you want to come back on and chat more about, PTSD and trauma events, or, recovery, you can talk about any of those topics in therapy. So this is that kind of format. And now you have my number. We've had it, but now you have it anyway. We've talked.
Yeah.
And whenever you want to come back on, you just let me know, and we will work out a time and sit down and do this again.
Looked out perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jennifer. It's been great getting to know you today.
Peace out.
Yeah.